Moses was forbidden to enter the Promised Land, yet 400 years later, he appears inside it, standing alive next to Jesus. Not every event that changes history happens in broad daylight. Some moments are hidden in the shadows. No trumpets, no crowds, no human record can fully capture them. There is only a desolate mountain, a cold night, and a light that does not belong to this world. Imagine yourself standing there, no electricity, no sound, only the night wind cutting through jagged stones. Then suddenly, the sky is torn open, not lightning, not thunder, but a brilliance so overwhelming that even the midday sun would bow before it. From within that light, time itself collapses. Two men who vanished from history thousands of years ago suddenly appear in flesh and bone, standing beside Jesus. Not visions, not spirits, not memories. They are alive. One is Moses, the other is Elijah. They did not come to exchange greetings. They did not come to retell their victories. They came for a conversation so weighty that all of heaven fell silent to listen. And if you think this was merely a moment of glory, you have missed the most important part. Because what was spoken on that mountain does not only unlock the Old Testament, it determines your eternal destiny. Why, Moses? To understand what is happening, we must travel back in time more than 1,000 years. Back to a man of unparalleled greatness, yet marked by tragedy. Moses is not merely a historical figure. He is the embodiment of the law, the foundation of a nation. The man who spoke with God as one speaks with a friend. Yet his life began under a death sentence. Born a slave, hunted from birth, placed in a fragile basket and set adrift between life and death. Destiny carried him into the palace of Egypt, raised as a prince, educated in the wisdom of the greatest empire on earth. But glory could not hold the chosen one, because his calling was not a throne, but a desert. The defining moment of Moses' life did not occur in a palace. It happened in a barren desert before a burning bush that was not consumed. There, God called his name, not with force, not with fear, but with an invitation. Go, bring my people out of the house of slavery. From that moment on, Moses became the right hand of God on earth. The summit of Moses' life was not the Red Sea, it was Mount Sinai. He entered the cloud of thunder and fire. 40 days, 40 nights, no food, no water, only glory. When he descended, his face shone so brightly that no one dared to look at him. In his hands, the law of God. He stood before Pharaoh, a king worshipped as a living God. He proclaimed freedom before absolute power. Then came the Red Sea, 2 million people trapped, water ahead, chariots behind. In humanity's darkest moment, Moses raised his hand. The wind blew, the sea parted. This was not merely a miracle, it was the birth of a nation. For 40 years, Moses carried a stubborn people. He interceded, he pleaded, he endured. But then, one moment. At Meribah, exhaustion exploded. God said, "Speak to the rock." But Moses struck it. Not once, twice. Water flowed. The people lived. But judgment followed. No promised land. God spoke, "You did not honor me as holy before the people." The sentence was clear. No promised land. On Mount Nebo, Moses saw everything, the river, the cities, the land of promise. But he did not enter. He died alone, no grave, no marker, an unfinished ending. 1400 years later, Moses returned, but not alone. Beside him stood another man, not of law but of fire, Elijah, No genealogy, no childhood story. He appeared like lightning. He shut the heavens. He called down fire. One man against a nation. On Mount Carmel, 450 false prophets screamed. Elijah stood alone. Fire fell, God answered. But after victory, Elijah collapsed. He fled. He wanted to die, yet he never did. A chariot of fire carried him into heaven. Elijah never tasted death. Now those two men stand beside Jesus, the law, the prophets, Israel's past meeting humanity's future. What were they discussing? Scripture gives one word: Exodus. Not Israel's, but Jesus' own. The cross, the death, the resurrection. Moses could not enter the promised land because the law cannot save. Elijah could not finish redemption because prophecy is not enough. Only Jesus can save. And on that mountain, the unfinished promise was fulfilled. Moses finally entered not a land, but eternal glory. You were not physically on that mountain, but spiritually you are standing there now, between law and grace, between effort and salvation. The question is not how much you know. The question is, whom will you choose? Because the voice from heaven still speaks today. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him.